Joining us now, U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Linda Thomas-Greenfield. Also with us, British Foreign Secretary James Cleverly. Good morning to you both. Ambassador, let me begin with you, and we'll talk about some of the criticism in just a moment, but what more can you tell us about how this deal came forth, the great news that those Americans are now back on home soil this morning?
Well, the news is that they are back. They are with their families. And this is a commitment the Biden administration has been clear about since the beginning, that we would do everything possible to get American citizens who are wrongfully detained back home. And I think that's the story here. And I think if you talk to the family members of these individuals, they feel the same, as well as others, Americans who are being held wrongfully. We're continuing our efforts to do what is necessary to get them released and brought back to their families.
Obviously, it's great news. These images are wonderful to see this morning. That is, those Americans held for too long in Iran back on American soil. You have heard, though, Ambassador, the criticism that the United States perhaps gave up too much to let Tehran off the hook with unfreezing those $6 billion worth of oil assets and also giving up some prisoners here. We heard similar criticism around the deal that brought Brittany Griner home. What's your response to that?
Look, the president would have been criticized if he had not brought them home. And so, again, I think the story is that they are home. The funds that were released are going to be used for humanitarian purposes. The U.S. will have complete insight on how those funds are being used, and they will not be used other than to help the Iranian people who are in need of humanitarian support.
So, Mr. Foreign Secretary, of course, this comes against the backdrop of the United Nations General Assembly, which is in full swing here in New York this week. Talk to us about some of the things, the most important issues on the table. The defense of Ukraine, to be certain. What is the message there to continue to rally the world around Ukraine? But also talk to us about things like climate change and others.
Well, the whole point of the UN General Assembly is that we are able to come together and address a wide range of issues. And you've highlighted some of the important ones. The Sustainable Development Goals, the contract that governments around the world made with themselves to things like improve education, eradicate poverty, improve the natural environment. Those are way off track. And so part of our discussion here this week is about how we get those back on track using things like AI, for example, and some of the technologies we're bringing forward, but also with things like climate change, but also, of course, making sure that whilst we continue to support Ukraine in its self-defense against Putin's brutal attempted invasion of that country, we are also looking at things like food security, because the targeting of Black Sea grain, so the grain crops coming out of the ports in southern Ukraine, being blockaded by the Russians, plunging millions of people who are already in hunger into even greater difficulties. So these are just some of the areas that we're working on, both with our friends in the United States and, of course, the governments from around the world represented at the UN.
Minister Cleverly, you're representing the UK delegation this week because Prime Minister Rishi Sunak chose not to come. He's facing a real uphill battle. The Conservative Party is down 20 points to Labour in the UK. What kind of referendum do you expect in the upcoming elections, or what do those numbers mean?
Well, one of the things that I've seen, I was the chairman of my political party in the 2019 general election. So in the end of 2019, we had a very, very successful election, had one of the largest majorities in recent history for my political party. Earlier on that year, in the spring of that year, we polled at a national level election, we attracted less than 10% of the national vote. So the point is, come election time, the British people will really see the choice ahead of them between a government which is leading the way on AI safety, leading the way on supporting Ukraine, leading the way on recovering from the economic downturn that the world has seen because of COVID. And I think that they will compare that very favourably with, frankly, the very weak proposition put forward by the opposition party in my country.